We're fortunate enough today to have Thomas Dykstra, a doctor and a PhD of entomology, as well as many other sciences with us. He just flew in from possibly Hawaii or the Caribbean. Nice shirt.
Oh, you're welcome. You do what you have to do to keep people awake on video.
Well,
so,
and
yeah.
we're going to keep them awake because we're going to do a continuation today of one that I did earlier that got a fair bit of response, good and bad. To till or not to till?
Oh, this is dangerous territory, Glenn.
I know it is. One thing for all the people that sent in some comments, thank you. We appreciate your honesty. We appreciate your participation. But I didn't get a chance in that video to mention that a large percent of our growers and a large percent of the companies and farmers you deal with and consult are no-till. And what we're talking about is the actual food growers that grow in perennial, no-till situations.
Most of the trees.
Yeah, citrus, oranges, grapefruit, lemons, limes, apples, peaches, plums, pears, avocados, almonds, walnuts, pistachios.
All of them.
Have I missed any? I'm sure, yes, I have.
You probably have. But you just wanted to make a point, and I think the point has been made thus far without mentioning any other
I'm good?
trees. You're good.
Okay.
It's time to move on.
So the point with to till or not to till, there's a lot of these growers that you deal with, that we both deal with, that can't do tillage because they're going to cut and destroy the roots. So they can't till, but at the same time, they're saying what we've been doing, the way we've been doing it, isn't working economically. The inputs are going up. It's costing them more for fertilizer. It's costing them more for chemicals. It's costing them more for protection.
Yes.
So when I say to till or not to till, what we're trying to do is explain some of the symptoms that can be corrected in a no-till situation and show how we can get that back to be regenerative, because a lot of times I don't think a lot of it is right now, and the growers are admitting it. Now, I'm guessing a lot of the growers that responded were possibly in the Midwest, and they were a corn, soybean, no-till rotation.
Maybe so.
There's a lot of move for that. If that's working for you, awesome. I'm going to throw one at you. I love throwing your curveballs. Whether it's tillage, no-till, minimum till, or anything in between, in a short cut to the chase zinger, how would you respond if it's successful or not, or if it's working or not?
I would test the plant that is growing, because the idea of agriculture is to grow plants for food, whether it be humans or otherwise. So I test the plant. I look to see what are the Brix levels, and I have found very low Brix levels on plants in a no-till environment.
Now, Brix, there may be some viewers that have never looked at Brix.
That's true. That is true. That's Brix. And so what we're doing is we're measuring the sugar in a plant, usually in the leaf, and that this measurement is essentially an indirect measurement of photosynthesis. And when we do so, we're simply measuring the health of the plant to try and understand it better. So some of the difficulties that we found with the no-till system are low Brix plants. Now, of course, I'm referring to those plants that they grow in 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 days, 100 days, something like that, where there's a limited amount of time where you got to move quickly. And in those situations where no-till has been adopted, there is a significant, among other things, there's a significant compaction. If there's no compaction, that's good, but we still measure low Brix plants. And so right now, I have not been won over by the no-till system in regards to some plants. Of course, we're talking about the exceptions of the trees because we never till during those situations. But in the short-lived plants, I have not been impressed with what I have seen, and therefore I would not consider myself a fan yet. If the Brix levels go up, I will change my tune.
Okay. Ken, you're a scientist and you believe in accurate, definite numbers.
Yeah.
You mentioned low Brix on some of these farms. Till or no till?
Sure.
It's happening across the board.
Without a doubt.
There's a lot of farmers that are doing tillage that have?
They would have different reasons for getting lower Brix, yes. But that there are compounding factors too.
So what would you define low Brix at?
Low Brix is what I would define as about 3 to 5 Brix. Okay. That is what I consider to be a low Brix plant.
And these plants that are at 3 to 5 Brix, what kind of symptoms or ailments would they have?
They have all of the ailments that you could possibly imagine. They are attacked by bacteria. They are attacked by fungi.
Bad bacteria?
Well, not necessarily, because some bacteria can be good, but then become noxious on a plant that is a low Brix. So you can have healthy bacteria that suddenly become problematic, and it can actually cause sick symptoms on plants. So what I'm trying to say is not all bacteria are bad and not all of them are good. Sometimes it depends upon the condition that dictates whether or not a particular bacteria is good or bad.
Would a low Brix be defined as a possible bad environment?
It would be defined as a bad environment.
From the grower's eyes?
From the grower's eyes, yeah. You would see problems. Wherever you looked, you would see problems.
What about from the chemical standpoint?
From the chemical standpoint, you've got a plant which is suffering, and in order to keep it growing, we need to pump it with chemicals. Thus, we have the advent of chemical agriculture, which becomes more necessary under these particular conditions that we're discussing right now.
Okay, so you're saying 4 to 6 Brix is low.
3 to 5 is what I consider to be low Brix.
3 to 5.
4 to 6 is still low. It's just a little bit higher. That's all.
Okay. What would they have to obtain to become healthier and get rid of some of the diseases, some of the disease potential or problem?
Some of the diseases are usually gone. By the time you get to 6 and 7, there are some changes that are occurring in the plant. These changes, very beneficial changes occurring in the plant, make it more resistant to diseases. And so you will start to notice, not that you get a clean slate of health or anything like that, but when you get to 6, 7, especially 8, some diseases just don't take hold anymore. And then everything changes by the time you get to 10 because the diseases have not taken hold at all. So we've got these. The reason why we use the Brix refractometer is because they give us numbers. And these numbers mean something. 6 is different than 7. 7 is different than 9. And because we have these different numbers, we can get an idea of how healthy the plant is, how susceptible it's going to be to disease, how susceptible it's going to be to insects. And therefore, using that as a system of measurement, this allows us as scientists in order to discern what the problems might be and whether or not the farmer is doing something successful or not.
So rather than pulling a sword out to a person that's maybe no-till or a person that's minimum till or a person that's full-till, how about identifying what they're growing?
Yeah. Well, the strip-till guys are doing pretty good. Because they're tilling just a particular area. And the plants that are growing out of the strip till system are going to be slightly higher Brix, as long as they're taking care of some other parameters. And there are some other parameters that can actually lower the Brix too. But generally speaking, we're finding certainly more oxygen in the strip till system than we do a complete no-till system. So there is some advantage when you're growing crops, short-lived duration, things of that sort. So yeah.
Okay. What we're looking at is not reacting to symptoms, but correcting the cause.
That would be correct.
This is where we come in. Soil Works isn't just our name. We actually work on getting soil to work.
Well, how do you do this? Because I'm a scientist right now, but how are you going to do this? Because if you're the company that is dealing with these products right now, so if you are dealing with a 3 to 5 Brix plant, and someone says I've got a 4.2 Brix plant, I've been raising this crop for many years, it's looking really bad right now. What are you going to do? What are you going to measure? What are you going to come at? What is your plan of attack? Because you're at the other end of it. I'm looking at this more as a scientist saying, okay, we're in trouble. whereas you're now being forced to answer the question and to take care of it. Where do you want to
A
go
lot of
with
pressure.
this?
So you're the judge and I'm the worker.
That is correct.
Okay, thanks, Doc.
I just set you up.
The first thing we look at is, can the soil breathe?
Yeah.
And we're getting into meteorology here, but a high pressure front is heavy sinking air to push air into the soil, to give life, to give oxygen, to give nitrogen to the soil and to the microbes. 100 to 150 psi is where we've seen the best results. Now, if you're in Florida, you're going to have low compaction, low surface tension, and things will leach through. If you're in California or many parts of South Dakota or the Midwest, you're going to have tight, heavy soil, and there's no air in that. And that's where, number one, we look at calcium. And we actually have a product that we have built almost 40 years ago to combat the compaction of soil, whether it's no-till, minimum till, whatever the till is. You want to correct the cause so you don't have to react to the symptoms.
I see. So the start is to take care of the compacted soil. So you're measuring the compacted soil first. You see that it's high. It's coming in not at 100 to 150, but we're now at 200, 250, 300. We've got a legitimate problem. You're bringing in the calcium now as a first thing, simply in order to open up the soil to allow it to breathe first.
Well,
You consider oxygen to be pretty important, I can tell.
if you can't breathe, is there anything more important?
There's a point to this.
Your Hawaiian shirt is fantastic.
You like it.
But if you can't breathe, are you going to be worried about your shirt?
Not in the least.
Or what you're going to have for lunch without being able to breathe?
Not going to be worried about that either.
And oxygen is kind of important because it's a major component of sugar, and that's part of the solution, not
okay.
the reaction to the symptom. And you know all this. We also look at the electricity. I'm going to call this the heartbeat. You may not agree with that.
It kind of looks like a heart, does it not?
Oh, because you're that good.
I'm that good. Yeah.
A 0.3 to a 0.9, and this is ballpark, is the electricity when you push this down to see what the consistency of the number is. And in fact, have you done a video on EC, the electrical conductivity, the heartbeat?
I have not actually done a video, so now that you're bringing it up, maybe I should, because it's actually
no pressure.
It's my second. Yeah, I know. It's my second most requested presentation when I am speaking. So I have presented it so many times I can't even count. Why is it not online? I don't know. So right now I probably need to get off my derriere and do something about it. I'm thinking, because I'm getting that look from you.
We'll talk about this off camera.
We probably should. Yeah. All right.
Point being, getting back to the point is, good things in life need air and respiration. They need to breathe. They need to, that's number one, they need to be able to have electricity flowing. This is the electricity that can come from microbes or many other things.
Yes.
And this is electricity that pushes and pulls minerals to and through the plant and allows the final result.
The final result.
Of Brix.
Of Brix.
This is the Holy Grail.
Yeah, that's really the first thing that should be tested. All other tests should be compared. So that's kind of like in the center, and all the other tests help to define what your soil or your plants are doing above and beyond that.
So this can be the first and the last test to see where you're at.
It is useful because when you do it as a first and a last, sometimes people add inputs and they have an input that they're not sure if it's going to be beneficial. Well, you test it. You take a Brix reading before, you put down your particular input. It may be the calcium that Glen is referring to. It may be some other addendum. It could be fish emulsion. It could be soft rock phosphate. It could be a pesticide. And you go ahead and measure the Brix reading after you put down this input, and this gives you a really good idea as to whether or not the plant really likes the input that you put down. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, and in which case the Brix will go down, and in other cases it remains absolutely the same, which then begs the question, if nothing is changing, why am I putting any input down at all?
Bingo. Dollars in, dollars out. It's got to make money.
Dollars in.
Yeah.
Yep.
What we found is calcium and phosphorus, both on an available source, are the two most important minerals. There's many others needed, but those are two of the probably the most deficient on an available basis. What I mean by available, if your fertilizer guy says, oh, you got a lot of calcium, you got a lot of phosphorus in the soil, but it's tied up or it's unavailable. Almost every mineral has to be hooked to oxygen to get from the soil to the plant. Do you agree?
I'll agree with that.
That's where the respiration, the breathing of the soil. So check the breathing, check the heartbeat to find out what the fuel tank is showing to solve the problem. If you want more information on Brix, a lot more in-depth information, they can get that by...
Yeah, you can get on YouTube and just do a search for Thomas Dykstra. A couple of videos will come up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So for Thomas, the doctor, the sugar daddy, the creator of healthy plants...
Do you see what I have to put up with? Do you see?
And me, we appreciate you being here. Look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.